Welcome back to Diary of a Speed Reader. Today's book is Galaxy Girls by Libby Johnson, and I'm giving it 4 stars. Now, all this week I've been previewing books that deal with space, and this one came up, though it's primarily oriented towards young adults. It actually talks about 50 different women that were involved in space and pushing the ball forward, but I think there's actually quite a bit more, and you know, I read young adults all the time, so I definitely have no problem giving this one 4 stars. I'm going to give you 3 takeaways. But first, if you've been enjoying this content, it would mean a lot to me if you liked this video, followed my Instagram, and or, be awesome if you did both, followed my YouTube. That lets me know that I should continue doing this after the 100-day challenge is done. Now let's get into the 3 reasons that I liked this book. The first thing had to do with this idea that there's actually lots of ways to get involved in space. I mean, you know, when I think of space, I think you have to be this massive mathematician, astronaut, awesome, physically fit person. But in fact, there are lots of different things that have been done and are necessary to become space ready. This book has 50 different women doing all different types of careers that were vital to making sure that astronauts both made it to space, stayed sane while they were up there, and came back down safely, as well as that their families were cared for. It's really, really fascinating, and if you want to be in the industry, but you know that your eyesight isn't there, whatever it is to become an astronaut, I think this might be the book for you. Now, the second thing really has to do with what I would call HR issues in recruiting for space. I mean, I think this book does an excellent job in that regard. You know, it really does take a certain type of person to pass the vetting process to be involved in these types of projects, particularly if your goal is to get out of space. They're not just looking for the right physical composition, intellect, etc., but they're looking for a certain mindset, and that is so intriguing. I mean, we see it all the time in movies, but I think that even in this kind of young adult genre, it's described quite well, and it's quite inspiring. With this idea that space is unifying, and there's lots of different places this shows up as a theme. Similar to the book that we reviewed earlier this week, Hidden Figures, Langley has been hiring women and people of color for a long time, and you know, things have obviously continued to transform and get better to our modern day standards, but it does really dictate the idea that it is a meritocracy. We need to get up there, and talent is talent. The other figure, Eileen Galloway, who's a lawyer that works on behalf of NASA to try to improve and get countries involved at the UN together in a coordinated fashion. It's really this idea that as we look towards the stars, we see one human race, and that's the power that space has for society. Speed reading stats, this book is 144 pages with lots of pictures. It took me 20 minutes to read it. If you'd like to learn more about speed reading, please feel free to comment below. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot to me, for liking, sharing, commenting, forwarding this to others. I will see you tomorrow.